Hello, my name's Andrew Moor and I teach film studies here at Manchester Metropolitan, and the author that I want to talk about is the novelist Jamie O'Neill, and in particular I want to talk about his novel At Swim Two Boys, which he spent 10 years writing, and it came out in 2001. The novel is set in the Dublin area in 1915, and it charts a really close and developing friendship between two young boys. There's Jim Mack, who is the hero of the book really, and he's very quiet and introspective. And then there's Doyle, and Doyle's from the wrong side of the tracks, and he's got a very, very cheeky smile, and their friendship develops when they're little boys. And one day Doyle takes Jim out to a headland just outside Dublin called the 40 Foot, where men bathe naked in the sea. And the two boys there make a pact. And the pact they make is that Doyle will teach Jim to swim, and then the following Easter 1916, they'll come back together at the point and they'll challenge each other to swim out to the Muglin Rocks and claim it for themselves. And the rest of the novel really is structured about the build-up to that Easter weekend, 1916. There's a third set of characters who join the novel, and they are Evelyn McMurrough, who's an aristocratic woman and an Irish Republican, and her son Anthony McMurrough. And Anthony has just returned to Ireland from London, where he's been serving 2 years hard labour for gross indecency with a young mechanic. So kind of coded into the novel here is the fact that he's an echo of Oscar Wilde, and the shadow of Oscar Wilde and what happened to him looms over the novel. As the story progresses, Doyle gets more and more involved in the Irish Citizen Army, and we see a romantic sexual relationships developing between the three men. As I said, everything builds up to that promised Easter weekend of 1916 and whether or not the boys will come back together and swim to the Muglin Rocks. So of course that weekend is building up to the Easter Rebellion in Dublin, and that act of defiance against British rule, and the Irish nationalist cause is what's giving the background to what's actually a very passionate and romantic love story. What it means to me, I read this novel in one go. It's a big novel, and I read it when I was recovering from a minor operation last spring, and I got so engrossed in the characters that I remember having to stop about 20 pages before the end and just leave it on my coffee table because I didn't want it to finish. And it's so rich and characterful. People have said that it's got a Dickensian sweep, and when it came out, people were talking of it alongside James Joyce's Ulysses as another great novel of Dublin life. It's so romantic, it hurts, and strangely, Jamie O'Neill hasn't written anything since. There was an interview with him when he said, "What you need to understand is that book was my heart, and you can't just grow a new heart." And I thought I'd finish just by reading out a couple of sections from the novel. So here we go. "But it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't Easter," said Jim. "Indeed, and it wouldn't. Aren't we straight so? We're straight as a rush." Doyle spat on his hand, and Jim did likewise, and their palms rubbed in the smear. "The crawl it is," said Doyle, and he slipped from the raft. Before he joined him and the sea would wash it away, Jim sniffed his wetting palm, a private smell, like leather, bodily, raw. It was true what Jim said. This wasn't the end, but the beginning. But the wars would end one day, and Jim would come then to the island they would share. One day surely the wars would end, and Jim would come home. If only to lie broken in McMurrough's arms, he would come to his island home. And McMurrough would have built it for him, brick by brick, washed by the rain and the reckless sea. In the living stream they'd swim a season. For maybe it was true that no man is an island, but he believed that two very well might be.